Good morning. It's Tuesday, November the 10th, and this is The Drill. Thank you. The prayer of the day comes from me. Lord Jesus, please bless President Donald Trump and any other candidates for office. Please enlighten and forgive our enemies. Please open their hearts and minds to the futility of their evil, atheistic, and anarchistic ways. Amen. So welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. My name is Ron. I'm your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. Who's the true conservative? First and foremost, he is realistic. Secondly, he's monotheistic. He's the person that has the courage of his convictions and is confident in what he knows. He's the person that subordinates politics to reality. He's not selfish, but minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He's patriotic and uses common sense. He's judgmental and moralizes. He refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He's open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He is consistent, credible, and influential, not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes. He is a normal American, and he is better than the socialist. He is a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that being a true conservative is best, or you're just wasting your time. Additional examples of what it means to be a true conservative can be heard by listening to John Cobelt and Ken Champeau on the John and Ken Show on KFI AM 640 Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So they don't consider themselves, by the way, to be conservative or liberal because as far as they're concerned, being conservative is about where you stand on the issues. But it's really not. It's about lifestyle. It's about your world outlook. And if you listen to John and Ken, you're going to get a conservative world outlook. They don't qualify their statements. When something's wrong, they say it's wrong. When something's stupid, they say it's stupid. So that's conservative. So, but again, if you want to get more examples of that, then listen to their show from 2 to 6 p.m. Nancy Pelosi has refused to negotiate in good faith regarding the second stimulus because it denies money to Republicans. I was flashed on this yesterday. Maybe many of you have known this for weeks and weeks and weeks. But when she was refusing to negotiate, it baffled me at first because I thought, well, why would she do that? That's stupid. It's politically much better for her and the party if she can be seen in a positive light by the voters. Hey, look at this woman. She's giving us a stimulus and she cares about us and blah, 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 blah. So, but she doesn't do that. She puts in all kinds of roadblocks to getting that done. Things that are irrelevant she wants to put in this particular bill. More money for Planned Parenthood, that kind of thing. So, of course, it goes nowhere. Why would she do that? And I firmly believe that even if the administration had conceded to all of her demands, she would have come up with new ones. That the plan on her part all along was to not give a stimulus. And so I was, again, confused. Why would Nancy Pelosi do something so obviously politically stupid? And really it wasn't. It was, like I said, the left, the socialists are cunning and sly. And this was more a demonstration of cunning and sly on her part. She knew that all of the money that she's going to be getting in her campaign, and well, not necessarily her campaign, but the Democrats across the board, whether it was whoever's running for president or whoever's running for other political offices, they're going to be funded by big tech. The big tech guys, the multi-billionaires, are going to be the ones that are going to be pumping money into their coffers. And it's also going to come from George Soros. So they're set. She also knows that the Republicans don't have that. They have some, I'm sure, very rich donors, but she was confident that they really can't match, that the Republicans are going to have to get most of their money from rank and file sources, okay, from from the average person, the average Joe. So, where are we standing right now is we're in lockdown for the most part, some kind of a pseudo lockdown, but it's coronavirus, it's communist flu territory, and nobody's making money. Okay, no one is making money. The average Joe is on unemployment, and the average Joe was getting $600 a week extra. Not anymore. Now they're only getting $300, and they're not getting their stimulus check. So every time that the politician goes to the average Joe like me, and I've said it before on my podcast, I send them a message back and I say, excuse me, but you'll get money from me when you get me a stimulus check. Get me a stimulus check and I'll give you a donation. And so, in other words, her idea is to hurt Republican fundraising efforts. That's the whole reason she turned down the second stimulus, because it hurts Republicans. So I want to, also to mention that right now we're in a position that's very instructive, that it's very highly psychologistic. The mission of the left is to try to convince, they need to create a movement. They want everybody, like they said, unity. First thing they start talking about is unity, 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 because they cannot go anywhere unless everybody is marching in lockstep towards their goals, which is always socialist hell, ultimately. They call it paradise, but it really isn't. It's just socialist hell. So they want everybody marching in lockstep. So the idea is either you're with us or you're going to be left by the side of the road. So the way they convey this, the way they do this, instead of using guns, basically calling out the National Guard and trying to force everybody to do their bidding at the point of a bayonet, what they do instead is they play psychologistic games. So you're going to hear a lot of talk from President-elect Biden, supposedly. And I put that in quotes, this president-elect stuff. And the proper response to that, by the way, is who? Somebody comes up to you and says, President-elect Biden. Who? Never heard of him. Biden-Harris, who's that? Counter psychology. And then you tell them, the only thing I know is for real, that's real and certain and sure, is President Trump. And what President Trump is doing, and whether, even beyond the lawsuits. What else is President Trump doing? Well, he fired the defense secretary and whatnot. But that's what's real. And you got to use counter psychology on these folks and make it sound as if and seem as if President Trump is going to be going to be taking the oath of office on January 20th. Counter psychology. Otherwise, what happens is if you keep listening to President-elect Joe Biden on the news, and you hear all of this, I've got this going, I've got that going, I'm going to create this committee and this commission, and I'm going to appoint these people. He's already pretending to set up a cabinet. He's already pretending that he's going to do things to solve coronavirus. And it can be intimidating, very, very, because psychologically it's very powerful if you're not aware of what they're doing and you just sit there and take it day after day. So what can you do? Shut it off. Every time I hear on the radio the news people talking about, well, President-elect, click, doesn't even get any farther than that. Or if I hear the name Biden, click, I don't even get to the second syllable, done. Either I'm switching it to another station or I'm just shutting the radio off entirely. I'm not going to sit here and allow the left, whether it's the left in the news, because they're complicit in this. They're just more than happy to run around trying to psychologically bully and intimidate Trump supporters. So don't go for it. Don't listen to it. People that you know, your friends, your relatives, etc., come to you and say, again, try to go, hey, Biden, Harris, this, who? Never heard of them. Sorry. All I know about is President Trump. Now, President Trump, what he's going to do when he gets in office, and tell them, just make something up. Well, President Trump, he's going to continue building the wall. He's going to get the wall done in his first year. Coronavirus is going to be cured by January. Because we all know that one of the pharmaceutical companies has come up with a vaccine that's supposed to be 90% effective. There was a doctor on the radio yesterday that was saying that he would have been thrilled with 50% effective. So this is huge news. This is the reason that the stock markets are up. There's going to be people who might want to try and tell you the stock markets are up because they like some boob presidential candidate that I've never heard of, but it's not true. What it has to do with is the coronavirus. Coronavirus is key to almost everything that's going on today. But anyways, we got a vaccine that's on the way. And so you tell people, hey, Donald Trump is working on getting this vaccine out to everybody for free. Nobody's going to have to spend a nickel on that vaccine. Pretty soon everybody will be vaccinated, and this whole nightmare of a communist flu will be over. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and sue the communist Chinese to pay for the damages they created by their negligence. Stuff like that. Just have some things in mind where President Trump is going to do this, President Trump is going to do that in the next year, in the next 2 years, and his second administration. Second administration. Those are the words you want to keep in mind. What you're doing then is countering. You don't want to be on defensive. You don't want to have people coming to Biden Harris, oh, well, but they cheated. Oh, well, but they... No, that's a loser. Skip all that. Leave that to the lawyers. Let the lawyers work that out. All I care about is President Trump, January 20th, taking the oath of office, be there or be square. Another good thing to tell people is wait till January 20th when President Trump is taking office. He didn't have all that many people there last time because some selfish socialists decided to stay away, but this time it's going to be packed. We're going to have, it's going to be the biggest rally on the face of the earth. Okay, so you tell them things like that. You're going to demoralize these people. And it's not hard to do. The average socialist is a useful idiot. They do what they're told to do. They're bullied and intimidated by their superiors into going along with the program. Speaking of which, there is talk. There's the asshole-in-chief Robert Reich that used to be in some administration a long time ago, and he was completely irrelevant then. He's completely irrelevant now, but he wants to jump in and play the psychologistic game. You know, he wants to screw with people. Oh, well, guess what? Truth and Reconciliation Commissions and anybody that had anything to do with this, that, or the other thing is going to be on the hot seat or they're going to be in trouble. Be assured that the only reason that they would hold a Truth and Reconciliation Commission is to punish the Democrats that voted for Trump. Make no mistake about it. No politician is elected strictly along party lines. Okay, Donald Trump didn't get 70 million Republicans only. He got crossover votes. And it'll be interesting to find, I'm going to do some research and see if I can find out right now, later on today, how many Democrats voted for Donald Trump. Because that's what scares the Democrats to death. That's why they're all weepy about, well, why was it so close? They figured it was going to be every Democrat in America versus Trump and his supporters. And that it was going to be, therefore, a, quote, blue wave. And actually, most of the time, they don't believe anything. They just project, again, for the psychologistic power behind it. So, so don't get wound up on this. Remember that the Democrats, whole bunch of Democrats, voted for Donald Trump. So any of this other crap about truth and reconciliation, because like I said, the Democrats have to consolidate their power. And the first way they got to do it is they got to go to all the Democrats that are Trump supporters and, basically give them the ultimatum. You're either with us or against us, and if you're against us, we're going to make your life miserable, kind of thing. Making idle threats, which is one of their strong points, is going ahead and making idle threats. So the other thing is in terms of your own psychology and keeping upbeat and staying upbeat, because a lot of people will tell you that. They give you the order to news or podcasters and broadcasters that say, don't get down, be up, well, how? How do we do that? Simple. Quit listening to crap. Don't go on Twitter and read crap. If people are telling you, there's a lot of Republicans that are out there talking crap, that are going to say, that are going to actually tell you about the President-elect Biden. Use those terms. When I'm on the radio and I hear, like I said, and it could be coming from the news, it could be coming from Rush Limbaugh. If Rush Limbaugh comes out and says, he wants to talk about what Biden is saying or doing, I just turn it off. I turn it off, or I switch the channels. And I wait for a little while, and then I go back because a lot of times the right-wing pundits will play clips. They'll play clips. Hey, well, listen to Joe Biden. Why do I want to do that? I don't tune into Hugh Hewitt to listen to Joe Biden. I don't tune into the Dennis Prager show to listen to Joe Biden. Okay? And nobody else should either. In this particular point, right now, it is psychological warfare, and you have to be prepared for it. And the way to be prepared is to know that it's happening, and that the left is going to come at you in all ways. Sometimes it's going to be in person, might be your mom or your cousin or your coworkers or whatever, and be prepared for that, and or on the radio and television. You turn on the news, and as soon as you start hearing Biden this or whatever, you got to change the channel, turn it off, or if you're married and your wife is watching this, you got to leave the room. Go somewhere else and listen and watch something else. So, for the time being, until President Trump is confirmed as being reelected, let's put it that way. So, let's see, what do we got? So this is kind of a different approach today that I'm using instead of going through all of the good news and all that stuff. And the good news is, by the way, remember that the pressure is always on the left. This is why you don't want to be a lefty, one of the big reasons, that the pressure is always on the left, and never more so than when they're in power. The pressure on them is enormous. Because remember, they are promising. They're not just promising single payer, abortion on demand. No, they're promising paradise. And they have to deliver. And they know it. And so part of the problem for them, paradise means perfection. Everything has to be perfect. And the problem is that perfection and the perfect is the enemy of the good or the good enough. What that means is that things rarely get done at all. And those things that do get done certainly don't get done on time. For instance, a lot of talk about, well, if the Democrats get into power, they're going to do this, that, and the other thing. They're going to stack the court. Remember that we have another election in 2 years. Okay? The only way they can do all of their ambitious plans is if they own the federal government. Lock, stock, and barrel. They barely... All you need in the House of Representatives is 10 Democrat defectors. 10 Democrat defectors, and whatever bill they got going goes down the tubes. Okay? And so in 2 years, we're going to have another election for the Senate and the House. And at that particular point, we have another shot at taking control of the House and taking control of the Senate. If that's the case, then we're firmly in control again. The Republicans are firmly in control. So it means that the left only has 2 years. They have all these ambitious plans. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other thing, as though they're dictators. We just dictate. We'll step up and say, you over there, you're going to do this. You over there, you're going to do that. Puerto Rico, you're going to become a state. Washington, D.C., you're going to become a state. And both of you are going to vote in 2 Democrat senators. Well, what if that doesn't happen? What if Puerto Rico doesn't want to become a state? Because it's not that simple. You don't just tap somebody on the shoulder and you become a state. They have to vote for it. And Puerto Rico has voted in the past. They've had referendums or initiatives or whatever as to whether or not they want to become a state. And every time the initiative loses, and Puerto Rico stays as a territory, okay? Because the Puerto Ricans don't want to pay the taxes. They got to pay taxes in Puerto Rico, but they know if they become a state, then they're liable to end up having to pay, well, they have to pay federal taxes and whatnot. So their taxes are probably going to go up. So that for one reason, and there may be others involved, but it's always been shot down. So the Democrats can talk all kinds of smack. It really doesn't matter. Same thing with Washington, D.C. They're going to have to put it to the voters. If the voters say no, well, guess what? you're not getting your 2 extra senators. Here's another possibility. Puerto Rico goes for statehood, Washington, D.C. goes for statehood, and then they vote for 1 Republican and 1 Democrat each. Oh, that's interesting. Or maybe both of them vote for Republicans. Well, all of a sudden their plans are foiled. So the point is, don't let yourself be psychologically intimidated by any of their big, bold plans. And by the way, all of this that I'm describing takes time. Okay, and they know it. They're under the gun. They're under pressure. In a year and a half, campaigns are going to start again for the 2022 election, and they know it. And they know they got a year and a half to get this done. And I'm telling you right now, any person with an ounce of common sense is going to know that it's not possible. It's just not going to happen. So they're dreaming when they say they're, all these ambitious plans. It's psychology. That's all it is. It was psychology, a way of actually getting Democrats to fall into line, suggesting, that they're going to get punished in some way, shape, or form, and to project power. We're powerful people. Don't mess with us, or you're going to end up getting in trouble. So, back in a minute. Thank you very much. And tomorrow there's going to be more. I'm going to be talking more about whatever's happening. Primarily from now on, it's going to be about psychologistic tricks that the left is going to be playing or trying to perpetrate on the rest of the country and how to defeat them. So until then, be smart, be honest, be beautiful, and always remember to ask yourself what's real. How do we know, and what do we do about it? And I'm Ron, and that's the drill.